As the words of Fulcanelli come alive in our exploration of the philosophical dwellings, we are transported into the mystical world of alchemy. Imagine diving into an ancient labyrinth where the secrets of transmutation are waiting to be unveiled. But this isn't just about turning metals into gold. It's a quest for ultimate knowledge, the secret of secrets. In this segment, we delve into the heart of alchemy, where Fulcanelli unveils the mystery of the philosophical mercury. He takes us on a journey to understand the distinction between common mercury, found in nature, and the philosophical mercury, a substance sought after by alchemists. This substance is the key to the philosophical rebus and the wonders that come with it. The text suggests that success in alchemical work requires more than just technical knowledge. It demands unusual artistry that defies established scientific rules. Unfortunately, this artistry is kept secret by the wise. It is a process where alchemy diverges from traditional chemistry, leading to the discovery of remarkable substances with astonishing properties. Obtaining the philosophical mercury begins by combining two bodies: the fixed body, represented by the philosophical gold, not your everyday gold, and the volatile body, our living water, commonly known as mercury. By dissolving these two bodies, the alchemist gains knowledge of the moist principle of metals, the seed, the eternal water, or the salt of wisdom. The process then becomes tedious and meticulous. The alchemist must perform repeated purifications and sublimations by fire, refining the formidable mercury of the wise, the pure and powerful essence that emerges from heavy matter and transforms it into something sublime. This is how matter becomes spiritualized, with the spirit finally taking on material form. These stages are represented by 3 stars, each symbolizing a crucial part of the work. The foundation is the mercury, which through the dissolution and combination of fixed and volatile elements becomes capable of coagulation. The philosophical mercury, after being fixed by fire, undergoes a new dissolution through the spirit of magnesia, increasing the power and consistency of the matter. Finally, a third solution leads us to the perfection of the Philosopher's Stone, a universal remedy that can be multiplied in quantity and quality. Within this intricate labyrinth of processes lies the heart of alchemy, shrouded in absolute secrecy. The alchemist acts as an intermediary between the earthly and the divine, aspiring to a wisdom that transcends nature and touches the realm of the supernatural. Just as Hermes Trismegistus declared, "The sun is its father, the moon its mother," alchemists sought the union of the masculine and the feminine, the fixed and the volatile, to breathe life into the philosophical mercury, a pulsating core of their sacred practice and mysterious science. As we delve further into the philosophical dwellings, we discover the depths of antimonite, a substance that has perplexed and bewildered alchemists in their search for its secrets. Imagine a maze of words, each term hiding clues to the next step forward. This is how Fulcanelli describes the intricate relationship between traditional Kabbalah and the study of antimonite. Throughout history, alchemists were deceived by the belief that common antimony held the secret to the great work. Fulcanelli vehemently refutes this, explaining that substances like the philosophical mercury cannot be extracted from common antimony. Notable figures such as Artephius and Basil Valentine unwittingly contributed to this misconception with their works and assumptions. The truth is revealed through a wordplay. The antimony of the wise has nothing to do with the mineral extracted from the earth. It is a primordial chaos, a symbolic coal, a powder that ancient alchemy compared to the tint used by Eastern women to beautify their eyes. This powder was, in reality, a mixture of granulated tin and oak galls. This is just one example of the intricate poetry and rich symbolism that permeate the hidden language of alchemists, teaching the true preparation of antimonite. Contrary to the false belief, true antimony, the philosophical antimonite, is described as a metallic and mineral flower, a solar essence closely related to the regenerative philosophical mercury. It should not be confused with common mineral antimony. Fulcanelli urges his readers to seek divine understanding to grasp fully the mysteries of antimonite. He suggests that guidance must respect the will of the adepts, and that the key to understanding symbols only opens the doors to the minor mysteries of Agra, not the great mysteries of Eleusis, whose secrets were carried by the last mystagogues. With this vision in mind, he advises sincere investigators to approach the search for Hermetic gold with caution. Even the enigmatic inscriptions in ancient castles, like those of Louis d'Estissac, follow the same guarded prudence, veiling essential points with symbols that do not openly disclose everything. Fulcanelli highlights the significance of numbers in Greek Kabbalah and explains how numbers replaced letters, hiding truths within a ciphered grammar. Through this perspective, antimony, or stimi, associated with the number 6 reveals a Hermetic meaning that holds not a substance, but a dynamism, a sealed life inherent to true philosophical alchemy. The narrative then critically examines mistaken interpretations of alchemical symbolism, where a number used by craftsmen, the number 4, could be reduced to a mere guild symbol. It reinforces that in Hermetism, these symbols are far too fundamental to be mere professional indicators. By understanding these symbolic and linguistic details, we inch closer to understanding the guardian of invisible mysteries, the alchemical gold that animates and fertilizes. Its revelation comes not directly, but through the synthesis of knowledge and spiritual intuition. And so, we continue revealing the next steps in this alchemical labyrinth, where knowledge and revelation go hand in hand. As we journey through the Philosophical Dwellings by Fulcanelli, we now plunge into the eloquence of symbol-laden alchemy found within the house of the Man of the Woods. But before we do, let me unveil the hidden depths of the symbolic fireplace that Fulcanelli painstakingly details. In our exploration of alchemy's depths, the Philosophical Dwellings by Fulcanelli reveals symbols and secrets that whisper to us about transmutation and the essence of life. This segment delves into the wisdom hidden within ancient words and mysterious symbols. It tells us that understanding lies not just on the surface of the text, but also in its esoteric undercurrents. The Greek word gnoma, meaning clue or distinctive sign, prompts us to reflect on the importance of hidden signs in Hermetic study. The author cites historical alchemical works like Nicolas Flamel's Le Livre de Figures Hieroglyphiques and Le Triomphe Hermétique to illustrate the use of encoded language and symbols by philosophers throughout time. Symbolic narratives, such as Longinus piercing the side of Christ or Greek heroes slaying dragons, are interpreted as acts with direct applications in Hermetic work. Chants in the Christian Church and writings by sages like Far Noel and Basil Valentine are presented as examples of the enigmas and philosophy that surround the truth of alchemy. The text suggests that, like in sacred stories, the great work of alchemists recreates miracles and reflects the generative power of nature. We reach the core of this section with a discussion on birth and death in alchemy. Nascendo quotidi morimur, a quote from Seneca about the mortal nature of human existence, is revisited and reinterpreted within the Hermetic context. The author suggests that the words daily and dying should be taken literally, while the word birth conceals an underlying message. Here, the concept is that death and destruction are necessary for the generation and growth of the Philosopher's Stone, representing the pursuit of wisdom and enlightenment. The importance of mortification, of blackening in the early stages of alchemical work, is emphasized. The transformation through decomposition and putrefaction leads to regeneration and the creation of the philosophical substance. The segment concludes by suggesting that in alchemy, true fulfillment lies in the constant process of death and rebirth, a universal theme also symbolized in legends and myths. This segment of the Philosophical Dwellings invites us to understand that even in our own lives, destruction often gives rise to true creation, an acknowledgement that every end can hold a new beginning. Thus, alchemy reveals itself as not just the transformation of substances, but also the transformation of souls. Are you ready to embark on this journey of transmutation? What can the secret fire of alchemy reveal about the mysteries we seek to solve? Let us continue our investigation into the next segment to discover even more about this fascinating universe of symbols and secrets. Imagine stumbling upon an ancient secret, a hidden world of alchemy that spans centuries and captivates us with its mystique. That's exactly where we find ourselves as we delve into the analysis of Nicolas Flamel's text, an extraordinary alchemist who, after purchasing a mysterious golden book purportedly written by Abraham the Jew, becomes entwined in the deepest mysteries of alchemy. This incredible book, as described by Flamel, is unlike anything ordinary. Its cover, though made of copper, is considered golden, a subtlety that perhaps reveals the dual nature of alchemical matter, hinting at both its raw appearance and its sublime potential for transmutation. The pages are not made of commonplace paper, but rather from the bark of young trees, suggesting something about the age and primordial origin of the alchemical raw material. And the engraved figures within it, far from mere adornments, hold the operational key to the grand work of alchemy. Who is this Abraham? Not the biblical patriarch in a literal sense, but an allegory for the source of all creation, the primordial principle of all things. Essentially, the alchemist's prima materia, the unique and original substance from which everything originates. And the price of the book, 2 florins, is not just the material cost, but also symbolizes the total value of the elements necessary for the great alchemical work. Nicholas Flamel takes us on a journey that challenges literal and superficial understanding, urging us to adopt a more adept vision of the hidden meanings and subtleties. According to his narrative, the Philosopher's Stone is a very common book, yet filled with great hidden truths. Furthermore, he highlights its physical characteristics associated with a mineral, a humble copper that conceals an alchemical gold not so apparent, but genuine nonetheless. As we delve into the preparation of this matter, Flamel's mention of the iron stylus is not merely descriptive but symbolic, indicating a process of purification, an intimate change of the Magnesian nature. Iron, with its high proportion of latent fire, is the transmuting element, capable of turning the inert into the prolific. And here lies the essence of the alchemical green lion, a brute force that needs taming and guidance. With a vibrant narrative, Flamel paints for us the alchemical theater, where the forces of nature clash in a sacred battle for transmutation and the attainment of the sublime. This confrontation between distinct bodies is the heart of alchemy, a cosmic dance that reflects the Hermetic work, seeking not only to transform metals, but to understand the essence of life and existence itself. So, my friends, through Flamel's words, we see his confessions and instructions not as a mere account of external events, but as a deep dive into the hidden and sacred wisdom, a play of language where each term and image compose the delicate mosaic of the great alchemical work. We are not just reading a text, we are deciphering a map that guides us through the labyrinth of transformation and revelation. Imagine yourself standing before a wooden house, built in the middle of the 15th century in La Ferte-Bernard, a setting where the mute speaks through sculpture and each eerie figure hides an alchemical secret. The facade reveals before our watchful eyes a symbolic battle, 2 grotesque and distorted figures, separated by distance, throwing stones at each other in eternal animosity. But make no mistake, this is not just any fight. We are talking about the eternal battle between opposites that opens the doors to the great alchemical work, the clash between 2 dragons, between the eagle and the lion, or even between the magnet and the steel. These images are more than just decoration for a modest residence. They are the expression of tensions between the volatile and the fixed, an allegory about the essence of philosophical creation. And when the alchemist intervenes in this battle, they insert the mythical fire, the animator of the great mystery that transforms substance. As if the house itself became a book of immense secrets, the art of the alchemist is revealed, bringing astonishment to the eyes and uncontainable joy to the soul in the face of signs that attest to this constitutional change. In the face of this marvel, we call for silence and observe with reverence, for we stand before the divine work, something that transcends mortal understanding. Here is where the reference to ancient history comes in, to the mystery of divine birth in the form of a little child, in a representation that directly evokes salvation. But it is not only the front of the residence that speaks to us. The stacked stones, the intertwined roots around them, everything speaks, even in the details, of a world where each element is part of a larger narrative, a world where the poetry of philosophical creation hides in the most unsuspected corners. From the castle of Dampierre to the sublime, we move from the images engraved in sculptures to the figures that, despite their external simplicity and discretion, contain true enchantments and wonders. suggesting a universe of symbols that defy the understanding of those who pursue Hermetic knowledge. Thus, we travel along metaphorical paths represented in stone and wood, each carrying the weight of centuries and the mysteries of ancestral sages. And the Philosophical Mansions, by Fulcanelli, in this chapter, Spells and Wonders of the Castle of Dampierre, appeals to our eyes to see beyond mere architecture and recognize the hidden essence beneath the surface. Ah, the mysteries of history! What if I told you about an enigma that has endured through the centuries, hidden within the walls of a medieval building? We will see here in the chapter The Castle of Dampierre II, the fascinating search for the identity of a Hermetic philosopher whose sculpted and painted works in an ancient French fortress still intrigue us. Imagine, we roam through a Renaissance castle where round towers unite with the main body of the building, revealing a facade with flattened arches that illuminate an upper gallery like a loggia crowning a cloister. What catches our attention is that between 1545 and 1550, symbolic decorations were made on the vaults of this gallery, but who could have been the author of these marvels? We begin our search with Claude de Clermont, the initial suspect, but a quick investigation showed that he died in 1545 before the execution of these works. Then suspicions fall on his widow, Jeanne de Vivonne. At 25 years old, she found herself widowed, was intelligent, had a distinctive personality, and possessed a lofty virtue, which earned her a great reputation at the French court and even comparisons to an oracle. However, Jeanne's skills were mainly historical, passed down through conversations with kings and nobility, accumulating years of anecdotes and chronicles. Her role at court, far from the isolation required by Hermetic efforts, makes her an unlikely candidate as the creator of this architectural legacy. Other possible decorators, including her daughter, do not fit the timeline, leaving us with a void about who was the master behind the Hermetic symbolism. In this hall of mysteries, we find a fireplace adorned with paintings that speak the language of alchemists. There, a balance held by a firm hand and an arm emerging to hold a sword indicate the necessary equilibrium in the pursuit of the transmutation of elements and the Philosopher's Stone. The animals represented, a mastiff and a dragon, symbolize material principles, all connected by alchemical harmonization. And as if all this were not intriguing enough, the fireplace also presents small medallions displaying a cross and the figure of an artist following the order of the Rosicrucians, making it clear that the author of these symbols was well versed in Hermetic arts. However, about the identity of this master, nothing remains other than the legacy of their work, for like many Rosicrucians, they remained invisible, hiding behind the veil of anonymity. These are the games of history, with hidden clues in stone and artwork that go beyond individual personalities to speak to us about science, art, and mystery. The Castle of Dampierre conceals more than just its physical history. It guards secrets of a past where science and spirituality intertwine, where the name of its artist is less important than the wisdom they tried to impart. Let us then continue this journey through the ancient philosophical mansions in search of answers to questions that may never be fully answered. Imagine the secrets of prosperity engraved in the heart of an ancient house, where even the beams and fireplaces speak of wisdom and wealth. In Chapter 38 of Philosophical Mansions by Fulcanelli, we come across inscriptions laden with deep meaning, narrating not only a way of living, but a philosophy intertwined with the mysterious world of alchemy. Before revealing the encoded phrases in this ancient castle, let's understand that there lay an invaluable inscription, lost to time but preserved in memory thanks to the careful transcription by a doctor named Dr. Texier. According to his accounts, decades ago, a beam in the same room of a grand castle displayed a saying in Latin, which we could humbly translate as follows: illustrious deeds, a generous heart, a glory that does not end in shame, modest wealth well earned, honorably increased and always seen as a gift from God. This is what injustice and envy cannot grant you, and what should always be a glory and an example for the family. Now this fragment, echoing the words of Solomon in Ecclesiastes, highlights more than just principles for an honorable life. It pushes us to reflect that the true value obtained through work is a deserved reward, provided by nature in recognition of the worker's skill, effort, and perseverance. And speaking of skill, the inscription hints at a mysterious occupation, perhaps alchemical, by considering acquired wealth as a divine gift. Alchemy, a well-known practical science recognized as a genuine gift from God, suggests an alchemical origin for the words coined on that ancient beam. But there is more to unravel in this dwelling of mysteries. Two other inscriptions rescued from this same house deserve our attention. The first, painted on the mantel of a fireplace, presents a 6-line stanza under an artistic work, featuring the letter H accompanied by 2 intertwined Ds decorated with human faces, one of an old man and another of a young man. This poem, written with lightness and joy, celebrates a happy existence marked by calmness, serenity, and hospitality, traits of a philosopher who savored life in their welcoming home. Here, still at the heart of Part 3 of this fascinating book, we find an intimate portrait of an ancient sage who possibly found in alchemy not only a means to tangible wealth but a continuous source of wisdom and serenity. The story that these walls tell, though worn by time, still resonates with timeless principles and an invitation to seek a contemplative life, rich in every sense. In the heart of the castle of Dampierre, we are introduced to a richly adorned upper gallery with symbolism that seems to defy time, suggesting that the stone dwelling is also a dwelling of forgotten knowledge. The frescoes and inscriptions on the panels carry cryptic messages, some exhorting timeless moral and philosophical virtues. To the initiated, they are much more than mere adornments. They are keys to the mysteries of life, knowledge, and Hermetic wisdom. Amongst these messages, we encounter an exaltation of authenticity. Know yourself, be genuine, and do not show off. This saying is what separates those who truly seek wisdom from those who only seek appearances. This teaching was the cornerstone recommended by the masters to their disciples, a reminder that only by deeply knowing oneself is it possible to access supreme knowledge. We also come across the failure of those who view alchemical symbols but fail to understand them, leading to misguided interpretations. An epigraphist who mistakes the Philosopher's Stone for a boat in turbulent waters or the devil for a mere mortal. A cosmic warning that negligence and presumption can blind even the most erudite. The gallery is a sanctuary of 93 panels, most of them bearing inscriptions that speak to both the alchemist and the common person, warnings, aphorisms, and parables. They reveal that Hermetic work is also a moral journey, an appeal to virtue. The association between architecture and the symbols of Diane de Poitiers and Catherine de' Medici actually masks older knowledge. These monograms and crescents have connections to ancient wisdom that dates back to Egypt, Greece, and Islam. They could be seen in temples and cathedrals, not just as decoration, but as symbols of a sacred science, guarded only for those who hold the keys to understanding. The crescent, far from being a mere ornament, is an alchemical symbol of silver and an emblem of the color white, indicating the complexity of the knowledge represented there. The double monogram D, linked to H, which emerged as a political symbol of nobility, holds a much deeper meaning in the Hermetic context. It represents the gift of God, donum Dei, the revelation of the ultimate secret, the universal spirit, and the key to alchemical work. The visit to the castle of Dampierre reveals itself not only as a tour through impressive architecture, but also as a deep dive into the mysteries of existence and those hidden truths that can only be revealed in the light of true wisdom. It is a journey that sublimates the physical and transcends time, offering those who sincerely seek knowledge, and not just appearances, a glimpse of the true magic that governs the universe. Have you ever wondered how ancient stories can hide secrets about science and knowledge? In the fascinating world of alchemy, every detail can be a key to unlocking great mysteries. In this segment of As Moratus Philosophies by Fulcanelli, we delve into the universe where symbols and allegories reveal the hidden processes of nature and alchemical work. The narration begins by comparing the legend of Jupiter and Danae with the alchemical process. In the story, Danae is a captive princess who, despite the barriers, is impregnated by Jupiter in the form of a golden rain, giving birth to a son, Perseus. This mythical tale mirrors the search for sulfur, the essence of the philosophers, a primordial substance in the creation of the Philosopher's Stone. Danae symbolizes the raw mineral, containing an active and hidden spirit, while Jupiter represents the metallic water or hermetic solvent, essential in the transformation process. Moving along the path of the great alchemical work, we are introduced to 4 flowers that bloom across different stages, symbolizing the transformation stages indicated by changes in color: black, white, yellow, and red, known as the regiments or kingdoms. These color changes provide visual evidence for the alchemist of the internal phases of the work. The ancients related each regiment to deities and planets, suggesting that each phase of the process is aligned with celestial forces. Here, patience and precision are advised to the artist, as excessive haste can ruin the delicate progress of the work. We advance to the image of a demolished tower, which illustrates the completion of Geber's 3 remedies: the philosophical sulfur, the elixir or potable gold, and finally the Philosopher's Stone itself. Each substance undergoes a cooking within the Athenor, the alchemical furnace, whose image reflects both the conclusion of the process and the liberation of the spirit trapped in the body. The final lesson of the panel is about the essence of alchemy, the mercurial water, which, through a complex and slow process, leads to the emergence of the Philosopher's Stone, a coagulation of this water. This is a process that defies the laws of known chemistry and requires unwavering faith, reaffirming the alchemical assertion that it is conviction and perseverance that drive the discovery of natural mysteries and substantial transformations. In this excerpt, Fulcanelli conveys not only the symbolism and allegories, but also a conceptual map for the realization of internal work in Hermetic alchemy. Furthermore, he reminds us of the importance of looking beyond the surface, where ancient stories and nature can reveal deep secrets to those willing to read the signs with wisdom and patience. And so, we continue on this journey, unraveling the hidden stages that, though concealed from the eyes of the beginner, shine with understanding to those who persist in the pursuit of true knowledge. Now we dive deeper into the mysterious waters of alchemy, invited to contemplate the fascinating relief of the Vertbois fountain in Paris and what it can reveal about the growing Philosopher's Stone. This fountain, built in the 17th century by Benedictine monks inside a priory and later offered to the city of Paris, boasts a low relief with a significant weight-carrying vessel. What appears to be just a vessel to the unaware eye is revealed as an enigma of profound philosophical truths. The sailing ship shows a massive stone, which is part of the boat itself, taking us on a journey of understanding that as the ship sails with the wind at its back, it represents the evolution of Hermetic work, where the raw material, the Philosopher's Stone, is in its state of transformation. Let's delve deeper. The raised sail of the boat points to the continuation of the stone's development, where meticulous attention and careful application of heat are vital for its formation. The ropes crisscrossed over the stone proclaim its transitoriness, and the cross, both spiritual and alchemical, symbolizes the critical step of the work in which we witness the initial coagulation of the stone. Symbolism is everywhere in this relief. The emerging dolphin indicates the matrix, the same one that ancient texts call the stone of the philosophers, a body of metallic appearance, distinct from the common mercury we know. Even the dog, an animal associated with the god Hermes, appears as the guardian of the process in the Vertbois fountain, signaling the acuity and intelligence required for the mastery of the secret art. Within this visual narrative, seemingly ordinary objects like oars and the caduceus hide more hermetic meanings. The oar relates to the notion of transportation and transmutation, while the caduceus, Hermes' staff, recalls the characteristics of the main substance of alchemy. However, one must not confuse the discovery of the Philosopher's Stone with a stroke of luck, as could be suggested by an inscription of a die represented in the relief. Alchemical science is described as a combination of immutable laws and principles that can only be understood and mastered through spiritual revelation, meticulous understanding of its process, and informed practice, far from being a mere matter of chance. In this chapter, Fulcanelli provides a rich interpretation of the hidden symbolism present in art and architecture, reminding us that alchemy is a science of depth and dimensions that challenges not only our intellectual understanding, but also our spiritual perception. We continue sailing with the mystical boat of Vertbois, attuned to the subtle breath of the Hermetic winds that guide our journey. Imagine a dice, a common object to our eyes, becoming the key to unraveling ancient mysteries. This cube-shaped dice, or kubos, as the Greeks would say, represents more than a random object. It is the metaphor for the Philosopher's Stone, the essential foundation for both alchemical science and the Church itself. But there is a hidden complexity, wrapped in operations and cycles, that resonate with the sum of points marked on its faces. We dive into the Hermetic work and its profound connection with nature, investing in the transformation of substances and the search for the elixir of life. It is not a simple process. It requires patience and precision, symbolized by the need for 3 cycles of 7 operations, totaling 21, the total number of points on the dice. Here, each roll represents a stage of development, a crucial step in the evolution of the elements. But what do these 3 cycles with their 7 phases each truly mean? They evoke the image of the Ouroboros serpent, a creature that devours its own tail, a symbol of infinity and eternal renewal. This alchemical spiral leads to the perfection of matter, to the philosophical mercury, a vital and animated substance arising from the pure union of sulfur and celestial water. As we contemplate the sacred alchemical art, we see how the simple action of rolling the die 3 times is in practice the repetition of the dissolution and redissolution necessary to achieve the mineral quintessence. Just as nature shows signs of its incessant work through the growth of 3 plants, the essential repetitions for the perfection of alchemical labor are reflected in the works of ancient sages, such as the hieroglyphic book of Abraham the Jew, and illuminated manuscripts containing 21 pictorial figures. Each image is in harmony with the stages of the great work, suggesting a path that requires astute knowledge and a meticulous study of Hermetic symbols. Moving through the Dampierre Castle, we conclude this phase with the panel of the legendary Bear's plant, hidden in the slopes of Mount Lebanon, shining with its own light at nightfall and manifesting the union between mercury and sulfur. The panel whispers to us about the mysteries of metallic transmutation and the wondrous properties of philosophical mercury revealed only to true initiates. Lastly, the philosophical fruit, a symbol of the ultimate result of alchemy, crowned as the Philosopher's Stone, whether shining as drinkable gold for healing or transforming common metals into purest gold. The precious nature of this stone is comparable to the historical projections of successful alchemists, whose effectiveness varied greatly, reflecting both the skill of the craftsman and the nature of the metals used in projection. In this excerpt, we learn not only about alchemical science itself, but also about its intimate relationship with nature and how it is intricately intertwined with spirituality and symbolism. We immerse ourselves in a world where numbers and operations are not just steps in a process, but the language through which the universe communicates its deepest secrets to those who know how to listen.